Hi, family. Thank you very much for stopping in. This is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. Today, we're going to be talking about improving your credit through velocity banking. I've talked about and defined velocity banking in some of the previous videos, so we're going to go ahead and jump right on in it today and to make sure that we have a good understanding of how you can use velocity banking in your everyday life. Okay, so one of the things that definitely, hopefully after this presentation, you understand financial capability, velocity banking, how it can be used to help you in general, and some of the pros and possible cons in using it with a credit card. Financial capability is the capacity to use your behavior, attitude, skills, knowledge, or what I call BASK within your environment, also having access to manage your financial resources effectively, equitably, and efficiently at all levels of your life. What is velocity banking? Velocity banking is a strategy where you use a revolving line of credit as your primary checking and savings account to help you pay off your help you to pay off your debt. In a traditional way of banking, you get your paycheck, you go cash it at a financial institution or now electronically deposit it. Then you pay your debit or charge cards from it. And then what's left over is still charges or interest on the credit card. And you may have some money, or you may even go down to your local office and paying your debts in general. Now, the velocity banking cash flow um, perspective looks at trying to pay down the principal as quickly to save money on the interest with the money that you already have without making more money or adjusting your income like I have done. So with the HELOC, or I'm sorry, the velocity banking and using your check, instead of it being a HELOC, we're going to take your check account, particularly when you deposit your income, it's going to be placed on one of your credit cards, particularly maybe your highest credit card. And then you're going to pay your bills from there, whatever you can pay from there. And also that's going to be left on to bring down the principal. Now, in this instance, I'm going to use one of my business credit cards, which is the highest, and that will be the Wells Fargo. I also have personal credit cards that I'm going to come back and look at with this same velocity strategy. If it works out, first credit card to be paid again is the Wells Fargo, and the balance on this particular card is $7,546.58 with a credit limit of $7,500. So I'm already over the limit with this credit card. So now some of the expenses that may not be able to be paid on a credit card, I think they talk about rent or mortgage when I looked at this strategy, but then there are some YouTubers that have been able to show how you can use a credit card to pay your mortgage. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is my bi-weekly paychecks are $1,686.47. So I get paid twice monthly with that amount. The first thing I'm gonna do is pay all of my housing expenses. Now, housing expenses include utilities, water, gas, electricity in general. However, my wife pays all of the utilities once I turn it over to her. So my housing expenses is 1,400. I don't pay those things through a card. So one of the things you must do is first of all remove what you're unable to pay on the credit card, and that's 1,400. So I'm gonna keep that set to the side so that I can transfer or give my wife cash so that that can be taken care of. So from that first bi-weekly paycheck for the month, I'm left with $286.47. That's taking my first bi-weekly $1,600 check minus 1,400 for my housing expenses only, and that leaves me with $286.47 that I can place on the card. Okay, so again, the balance on that Wells Fargo card, $7,546.58. I am over the limit. From that first biweekly paycheck, we noted previously that I have $286.47 left for the next 2 weeks. Rather than having that in a checking account or putting any in a savings account, because I'm paying like 30, I think 30 some percent on the Wells Fargo card, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it on the card and reduce the debt. And to give me definitely more savings once this is taken care of. So then the new balance becomes $7,260.11 for my first biweekly check of 1686. Next, we want to look at that new balance that's sitting on there from 7,500 to now 7,300 in general. We're able to show that now I'm going to take the second biweekly paycheck for the month, which is again 1686.47 minus that new balance, which was brought down by $286. And let me go back. I'm sorry. So here also in the red, the minimum payment for that Wells Fargo card was $230. That was the minimum payment. So the great thing about parking your paycheck onto the credit card is that you're reducing the principal and also making that first payment. Okay, so now with the $1,686.46 40 cents is now on the credit card from the previous balance. My Wells Fargo credit card new balance is $5,574. Wow, that is incredible. I've just got to absorb that. That's awesome. However, I also now have to pay my personal expenses. So the housing expenses were some items, but now I got personal expenses like groceries, car insurance, clothing, etc. So my personal expenses come up to about $1,200. Now remember, we got $5,574 now as a balance on the Wells Fargo card, but I got to pay my personal expenses and I'm paying them through the card. So now that pushes the balance up. Why would I push up the balance? Well, we're still saving money because we're using the credit card. So now the new balance with my personal expenses put on back on the card, $6,774. Well, that's still lower than the 5,500 that we started with. Okay, so to recap, we started with 7,000, or I started with $7,546.58 as my balance on my Wells Fargo card over the limit. If I just made the minimum 230 that was requested or required by the card, I would have ended up the month with $7,316.58. However, in utilizing the velocity strategy, then we can, the velocity banking strategy, this is what has happened. Starting balance was $7,546.58. The ending balance is $6,774. So that actually put on $772.58 onto the card. And I still have access to that. So this is an incredible strategy to pay down your debt very efficiently, effectively, and very quickly. So the ending Wells Fargo balance is $7,774. Now that's in the ideal world where I expect to end, but I may use that extra money in cash and doing something else. But I'm gonna try really hard to put as much as I can on the credit card and use the credit card. That is what velocity of banking is about, using your cash flow, and you don't have to necessarily change anything, go out and get another job, change your federal taxes like I did. None of that. Just use the money that you currently have. So the next steps, if you'd like to learn more about the strategy, definitely you can give me a call, contact me, and we can work out the strategy. Also, I'm doing small micro loans to help individuals out to just simply pay off credit cards and then just use simple interest calculations. I've worked with a number of clients in general. My very first client gained almost 100 points by paying off his credit card, but also with becoming an authorized user on one of my credit cards. That's also something that I do. So a number of strategies that I have available to try to help you reduce your debt in general. And if you know anyone that I can help, definitely pass the information on to you. If you like, you can contact me again at the telephone 678-925-8458, or you can email me at drfinancialliteracy@gmail.com. Thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate you. Bye-bye. Have a great day, everyone.